Good afternoon. Thanks for being here. Appreciate it. After we spoke, after we last spoke, did watch the film of the game on the plane, and we got back. And this, like what I said, it's a death by inches for us. So it's all about execution. The question is, well, how do you get better execution? Well, that's our job. That's what we're working on right now. I feel like the defense played better in the second half. I'm seeing some improvements in some areas there, and I think our best football is ahead of us. Offense, started fast, but we have to sustain drives and make more explosive plays. Obviously, we had a lot of drops. We had some penalties that killed drives. Special teams, we had some very irregular things that happened, which are all correctable, really operational type of deals. And then again, I said it before, we have to play complementary football. We had offense, defense, and special teams have to work together for 60 minutes. I believe our best 60 is ahead of us. So we have a tremendous challenge this week with Ohio State. Obviously, we know we have a great football team. They're very well coached. We met as a team this morning. Attitudes were great. We just had our first practice for the week. Very, very focused. Really good energy. More determined. Attention to detail, sense of urgency, discipline. The communication is really good, and those are the things that you look for moving forward when guys are really into it and really focused in the meetings on the field. Very upbeat and focused. So that's a good sign for us. We had a good start to the week, and we're excited to be back home in the woodshed. We know it's going to be loud. Our fans are going to be into it. So we're looking forward to being home. We're going to have some big time recruits at the game, so that's very important for us. And obviously, we know Ohio State's a great football team. So with that, I'll open it up.
Hey, Mel, in the front to your left, I think. Can you kind of go through the challenge that Ohio State presents offensively? Obviously, we saw what they were capable of doing last week, and with C.J. Stroud and just the weapons they have at their disposal.
Yeah. So the challenge is that they're very balanced. So they're extraordinary in the run game and also in the pass game, and they have arguably the best quarterback in the country. So everyone's at the point of attack on every play.
So Elijah Collins seems to be getting like a more featured role. What have you guys seen from him out of practice that's just kind of led to that move up the depth chart? Yeah,
well, it's with the production that you see in the game from him. That's what we see in practice. So and it's been consistent, and he's been improving, and so he's earned the opportunities to go in the game. And then when he's gone in the game, he's done well, and he has a really good attitude. He works really hard. He's a great teammate, and he does an excellent job on special teams. So he's very unselfish, and he's hungry, and so, and I think that's why he's been productive in the role that he's had so far.
I'm wondering, just one play in particular, that 68-yard run in the second half. I'm wondering what happened on the communication there between Brooks and Williams, and it seemed like they weren't in the right place, then they got in the right place, and then maybe missed some tackles. Is that kind of like one of those plays that's kind of epitomizing that death by inches in some ways?
Yeah, that was a good question. That was KB and speed there. Yeah. So we actually got into the right call, and then we need to be aligned closer to the line of scrimmage to make that actually an easier play, and then we need to align. Amir needs to align maybe 2 yards wider. But we have two unblocked players there to make a play on one guy. So that's a play that should be made. That actually should be a tackle for loss. We're actually coming off the edge there.
Is that one of those plays though that they were in the right spot to begin with? There's less thinking and maybe.
Yeah, even in the spots that they were in, that should be a tackle for loss. And at a 3-yard gain at the most, even where they were. I mean, they weren't far off, but from a detail standpoint, better alignment, the correct alignment, obviously could make a difference.
Mel, you've been a part of upsets throughout your career, I'm guessing on both ends and whatnot, probably dating, I think you were a grad assistant when you guys beat Ohio State in 98 or what. Are there dynamics that are important in a matchup where there's something that hasn't shown up on film yet in terms of when you look at a matchup that you need to happen this week to beat a team that's performing at the level they are?
Yeah, you have to, first of all, you have to believe. That's one. And then you have to strip the name off the jersey, okay, and go to work, preparation, and go and play the next play, during the game. Just take it from the meeting room to the practice field. Do it so many times right in practice where you can't get it wrong in the game. Then you take it to the game, you play one play at a time, never looking at the scoreboard, just keep playing. And so there's not anything real complicated about it, but it starts with the belief, and then it goes from there.
Mel, they got a new defensive coordinator over this year. I'm just wondering, what's different on that side of the ball that you're seeing from them from previous years?
Yeah, I like what Knowles is doing. They're very decisive on defense, and they play fast. They have a lot of speed, and they flow fast to the ball. So they're going to make sure that you can't run the ball inside. They want to make you run the ball sideways, and they want to use their speed to track you down and make sure they got good edges. So they're playing fast, and they're very it seems like they know where their help is and where they fit. I think they're just playing fast. They're playing fast, and they have a lot of good players, and they're on the same page. And so that's why I see execution and playing fast and being physical.
Mel, as you stress the urgency to get better, how do you maintain a calm amidst the storm? The storm being 3 straight losses. How do you do that?
Yeah, well, first block out the noise, and that's important. And the most important thing is what we do next. And anger, frustration, woulda, coulda, shoulda, all those things, really, they don't really help you move forward, because it's all about what we have to do right now. So you learn from the past, whether it's good or bad, and you own it, whatever it is, you own it, and then you get to neutral, decide what's the next best step to take, and you take that step, and then you take the next step and the next step, and that's the process. That's how you do it. Yes.
Hey, Mel, in the front here again. I think it's been a couple weeks since we could have asked you, but can you talk about describe how Ken Talley came about? Going to use at Penn State briefly, and coming here.
Yeah, he became available, and then we acted on it, and that's pretty much it.
And would your projection for him, how he fits into your scheme, and are you applying for a waiver to try and make him eligible?
Yeah, I don't have a projection for him at this time, so really focus on the guys that are available to play for us right now.
Did you guys find on the field to get him eligibility right away?
Yeah, that's not something that I'm really focused on right now, so he'll be ready when he's ready.
Mel, I think your teams have won 8 of the last 9 at home. You've talked about the crowd, how important that's been for you when it's had that kind of support. You know what Ohio State's traveling party can be like, and if they're coming up here trying to buy tickets, how important do you think it is for your crowd to show up and not to be selling seats on Saturday morning? It's
important. It's very important. So I know that our fans are going to show up, and I know they're going to be loud, and I know they're going to be into it. So it's very important. Our home field should be an advantage for us.
Is it important that you get off to a good start, even more than normal, for that, to get your crowd into the game instead of having them taken out of it?
Yes, it's going to be important that we get off to a great start, regardless. But obviously, our crowd is wanting to see good football, great football, and execution, and that's what we aim to deliver.
Other than Darius Snow last year, Angelo Gross was the most productive for you on defense against Ohio State. How do you hope or anticipate that he performs in that way this year? And also, how much better has he been since moving to the nickel spot, and why? Why is that?
Yeah, Jello did a nice job at the nickel spot. That's a spot that's good for him, and he didn't have as much work at the position as we would like in practice, but the work that he got in maybe a practice and a half, he showed what he's shown in the past at that position, because initially that's where he played as a freshman when he stepped on the field. And so I feel like he's going to get better because he's going to get more time on task in practice, and it's important. That's a very important position for us. And so I feel good about him there. I think his best football is ahead of him. What was the second part of your question?
Just about how important it'll be for him to have that production against a team like Ohio State, but so many skilled guys.
Yeah, so it puts a lot of pressure on your defense, and it's not just the D line or the linebackers or the corners. I mean, it's that nickel position is critically important for the run game, perimeter run support, the RPO game, and then also in coverage. You have to be a really good tackler, and you have to be adjustable. They have a lot of shifts and a lot of motions and things like that. So he has experience, so it's going to be important that we get high-level production from him at that position.
Well, you mentioned it being a big recruiting weekend. I'm just wondering how does what's happening on the field affect? I mean, that's not going to affect how you're recruiting, but does it become tougher, or does it change at all when things aren't going well in the field, as opposed to obviously when things are rolling? Does it get tougher, I guess?
Yeah, I think it depends on who you're recruiting and what they're looking for, and what is their criteria. If I'm a recruit and I'm being recruited by Michigan State, I'm saying that's a place that is hungry to win football games. They have a great fan base, great alumni support. It's big time football, and I have an opportunity to go in there and contribute. If I come in here and I'm ready to play and I do what I'm supposed to do, and I can be part of the build, and the emergence and the surge moving forward. And those are the type of guys we need. We need guys that want to come in here and do something significant and do something extraordinary.
Hey, Mel, you said Ohio State, something that impressed you about their defense is the way they're on the same page. Mm-hmm. With your defense, did you see progress in that area, or defense more on the same page in this game?
Yes, yeah, I do. I see that. I see gaining more experience, learning how to play more together, and that's important, and to get the right group of guys together so that we can play, sound, solid football, good team defense. You have to know your job and do it well, and trust that the guy next to you knows his job and he's going to do his job well, so we can all play fast and be physical and trust what we're doing, trust the call, and go execute.
Meanwhile, you have a freshman starting. How did he deal with his first communication?
Yeah, it was a good start for him. He played hard, and he was into it. I didn't see any hesitation from him, and so and he's shown that in practice, and so his best football is ahead of him.
You guys have faced a run of pretty seasoned and talented quarterbacks. It doesn't make making changes on the fly any easier. And I'm wondering what C.J. Stroud presents in terms of the differences from what you faced to this point.
Yeah, so he's a very accurate passer, and he's really smart, and he's tough, and he's really good with the getting those guys into the right plays, and he knows where to go with the ball in the passing game, and so he's very efficient, and he's good with the short throws, the intermediate throws, and and obviously the deep ball, and then he's mobile, so he can extend plays with his legs, and he's always looking downfield to make plays. But if he needs to, he can pull it down and run, and advance the ball and to score, or to move the chains, or and slide and get what he can get. So he's that guy that can do all of those things consistently.
I know a few players have changed for them on offense, but how much do you use last year's film to now get ready for Saturday's game?
We certainly have to. We study that last year's film to see what's carrying over and what's not, and then what any success that we had or anything that hurt us, we can expect to see those things again. But so that's part of the breakdown. That's part of the we take that into account when we game plan, when we watch film. That's certainly one of the games that we study.
Looking back at the film, particularly the second half, what changed with Peyton? It seemed like some of his throws were a little off the mark, and maybe some of the decisions that he made with running out of bounds on the one play, and then a couple of the other decisions that he made. I guess when you watched it back, what maybe was different than the first half?
Yeah, I don't know if there was anything that was different. I mean, we just, from an execution standpoint, we have to execute better and more consistently. And it's not just him, but it's everyone involved. We had a lot of drops. We had some penalties that killed drives. We had missed opportunities. So it all contributes to how it looks out there.
Mel, I think you were 9-1 and playing for a championship last year when you went to Columbus. Kind of ran into a buzzsaw there. How do you stop?
Thanks for that.
How do you stop one score or one big play by them from turning into the kind of 21 or 28 point blitz they get so often?
Yep. If you can stop that one, stop it, then it doesn't happen. That helps. And then you always have to play the next play. I mean, so it's just like I told the players this morning. The first thing I told them this morning. Okay, I said, write this down. Okay, you will always be defined on how you handle adversity. How you respond to adversity, not just on the football field, but beyond, outside of football, in life. How you, because you're going to be in adverse situations. I mean, it's everything. We're all adults here. We know that everything is not always peaches and cream. I mean, there's bumps in the road, and some are severe, and some not so much. But there's adversity, and it doesn't get any easier as you go. I mean, you're sitting here waiting for the easy bus to come around. The easy bus isn't coming. So, how do you handle it? How do you handle adversity? Like, so, if you, I told him, I said, like, it's going to be, like your kids, your children. There's going to be adversity, and they're going to be watching to see how you respond. It could be, your family members. They're going to watch you and see how you respond. Your friends. How do you respond to adversity? And that's important. And so, for example, you give an example, if they score on a big play, right? So, how do you handle that? So, what we tell the players is, and we talk to them about this on a consistent basis, and it's like this on football, and it's like this in life. Okay, it's what's important now, and we behave our way to success, which is the actions that we take. That's what creates the outcome, and it's all about what we do next. So the call comes in, play call comes in, offense, defense, or special teams. Okay, so you communicate, you get the call, and then you review your assignment, right? And then quickly review your assignment, and then you play the play, and you apply force. Okay, and then then you need a quick evaluation of that play. A quick evaluation of that play, good or bad. And it's about a 6-second play. And you evaluate it, good or bad, and then you own it. Whatever was bad, you own it. If it's good, you own it. And then you get to neutral, okay, and then you go to the next play. Now, that takes mental toughness, but it's both ways, though. I mean, you score, you make a big play on defense, or a big play on special teams, or a big play on offense. It's important that you evaluate it. Why did I have success? Okay, well, I need to make sure I continue to do that. And then you own it, okay, and then you got to move on, because you're only as good as your next play. So you have to keep going. Same thing with adversity, and that's neutral thinking. I mean, that's how it goes. So you drive into work, boom, I got a flat tire. Okay, I'm gonna be late. Okay, well, it's the facts. I mean, like, it's not good, bad, right, or wrong. It just is what it is. What do I need to do now, right? And then you take that next right step, and then you move forward. You can't have the poor me's, because that's not gonna do anything for you. And so, that's how we coach our guys. And there's no secret to it. It's just mental toughness. It's mindset. It's mental conditioning, and it's focus. And focus is a skill.
You mentioned what goes into an upset, if it's believing and stripping the name off of a jersey. The adversity that you talk about, what would a win, an upset over a team like Ohio State mean to this program right now?
Yeah, so for us, it's critically important that that's not our focus. For us, our focus is not on the end result. The focus for us right now on a Monday is the process. What do we have to do today in preparation? The required work, the unrequired work, today to stack this day, and then move forward to the next day in the process. So that's our focus all the way. And then when we get to the game, we do that, and we play the next play, play next play, play next play. And then at the end, then we look at the scoreboard and we see what it says.
Affection or appreciation you have for Ohio State and its excellence, having spent time there?
I have a lot of respect for Ohio State. A lot of respect.
Can you elaborate on having spent time there on why they're so good?
Yeah, we won a lot of games when I was there. It wasn't because of me, but we had a good program, and we won a lot of games. We won a national championship, and it was good. It was a good run there. It's good. It's an excellent program. I mean, I was part of that, and it's been that historically. So and Ryan Day is doing a great job of recruiting. He's doing a great job of coaching. He's an excellent leader, and he's working hard to raise the bar there, and continue the excellence and add to it, increase excellence. Makte Bertute.
I'll add that he has a great first name too, Mel. That's Ryan over here.
Did you just get here?
No, I've been here the whole time.
You've been here the whole time?
The whole time.
Okay.
So I wanted to ask you something that has nothing to do with Ohio State or your current team, but you look here, we're 3 days into October, and there's already been 5 FBS programs that have kicked their coaches to the curb. What does that maybe to you say about the state of college athletics right now?
It's a production business. That's what it is.
In that regard, I mean, do you feel like it sends the wrong message to college athletes when you say, hey, stick together, stick with the team, don't go to the transfer portal, but you're not even halfway into the season and you're telling the coach to get out the door?
Well, I think it's important to be realistic with the players and not and take it for what it is. So that's not something that we talk about. But who are we kidding, right? So it's important to be realistic, about everything that we do and be aware, and then control what you can control. But that's the reality of the situation, obviously, and that's what we sign up for. So this is voluntary.
Well, last thing on that, given that one of the schools just made a move with your alma mater, were you shocked, surprised? Any thoughts on Paul Chris getting dismissed?
Nothing shocks me or surprises me at all in anything that we're doing from a football standpoint. You know. Yeah, because you don't want to be up. You want to have consistency in performance. You can't be up and down with like a yo. You can't be a front runner when everything's going well. You know, you're jumping up and down, you're celebrating, everybody's smiling, and it's just like like you won the Super Bowl, and then some adversity hits, and then everyone's in a tank. So that's not a winning formula. That's not a championship mindset. That's not how you go through life. Just up and down. It's all about consistency in performance, and like the more, in my mind, the more neutral you are, the more intense you are, the more focused you are. It requires a tremendous amount of intensity. It requires a tremendous amount of focus, discipline, self-control to think that way. Because if you can't figure out how to think like that, then you're going to do things based upon how you feel and not based upon a standard. And we all know that we don't always feel like doing certain things, but that doesn't change what needs to be done. And so it's not about it's standard over feelings, standard over emotion. And so neutral thinking is not easy to do, but like I say, focus is a skill, and that's why we call it mental conditioning. It's just like physical conditioning. It takes reps, and you learn, and then you keep going.
I'm just kind of curious now, where do you keep your national championship ring from Ohio State? Is this something you just played with your recruits or anything, or because they don't have the confidence they just kind of don't bring that out?
Well, I mean, they're in my office. They're really hard to get. It's hard to finish first, no matter where you are, what you're doing in any sport or anything you're doing. It's hard to finish first, and so they're there. But I remember Jim Trussell. I don't wear them. I mean, every now and then I may throw it on, maybe, but it's not for me. But I remember Jim Trussell told us 2002, because he had, I believe he had 4 national championships at Youngstown State before he got to Ohio State, and then in 2002 we won the national championship. And then obviously there's a lot of hoopla and all that, and you go out to center court, basketball game, and everybody's cheering and all that, and then the rings come in, and Coach Trussell told the staff and staffman, he said, "Don't let me catch you wearing your ring or looking at your ring." He said, "Don't let me catch you looking at your ring. So just don't wear it, and you don't have to worry about it." So I don't wear them. I never have. So it's a good point. I mean, that's all. It's already in the books, right? What's next? You keep looking in the past. That's not going to help you very much. And as we talked about, it's a production business, right? It's all about what have you done for me lately? What have you done for me today? Not last year or 2 years ago or 5 years ago. Correct?
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir. Love that sweater. Yeah. Love that sweater. All right, thank you so much.